my yarny friends, I'm Sara Sach. Welcome back to my crochet channel. I'm so glad you're here today. Today is Friday Fun Day, and I have a really interesting and fun crochet square that we're going to make into a hot pad or pot holder by putting two together and stitching them together. And so what I did is I used several different colors of cotton. And these are all, I love this cotton from Hobby Lobby. I just happened to go in there for another project and I loved these colors. And I know you've probably seen them before. This is that pretty purple. I think this is called bruschetta, this kind of rusty red, cream, beige. Here's some green. Let me see, any other colors? No. You could even add gold to it. But even though I'm making these for fall or say Thanksgiving, you could make these in any colors that you want. Doesn't have to be the fall colors that I'm using. But I decided to call it the Allspice pot holders because we're using lots of different colors that remind me of spices. Paprikas and chilies and lots of other things that remind me of allspice, like what we put in pumpkin pie and things like that. Although, to be honest with you, I don't really like pumpkin pie, but don't tell anybody. That'll be our little secret. So what we're going to do in today's video is I'm going to show you first how to make these fun squares. And you could use these for anything that you want to. They measure about 7 by 7 inches. They make great blankets. They would make great table runners, placemats. And although I used cotton, and we'll talk more about yarns in just a minute, you could also use acrylic yarns if you're making a blanket or a scarf or a pillow or something like that. These squares can be used for whatever you want to use them for and in any colors that you want to do. That's what's fun about this pattern. I love to do crochet patterns that are versatile. That way everybody's favorite colors or ideas can be used using a similar square. All right. And so like I said, it's a 7 by 7 inch square and it makes the perfect size hot pad or pot holder. And it's nice and thick. You're not going to have to worry about burning your hands on that one. And it looks super pretty. I thought they turned out super great, so I just had to share them with you for our Friday Fun Day. Now, as usual, you can find this complete pattern on my blog underneath this video in that description box. I'll leave that link for you. And then we can make a bunch of squares together. For today's demonstration, I'm going to be using these 4 colors. Isn't this beautiful? I went back and got this gold color. It's called gold. These are all, I love this cotton, medium weight, number 4, 100% cotton yarn. And I like to make my hot pads out of cotton. In the past, I have made some with acrylic or had some given to me. And when I put a hot casserole down on it, it made it melt and become like a hard plastic. And so I try to stick with cotton if I'm going to make a hot pad. But remember, if you're making a blanket or scarf or a hat or something else that you're not going to be putting anything hot on, you can definitely use medium weight, number 4 acrylic yarns. All right. But I'm going to be using these 4 colors. The gold, this is the bruschetta. This green is called sage, and then this purple is called amethyst. I think they're going to be beautiful together. Now, you need a total of 2 ounces to make each square. So since I'm using 4 colors, I'm going to need a 0.5 or a ½ ounce of each of my 4 colors. And that's per square. All right. Now we're going to be stitching with an H-hook, which is a 5mm crochet hook. And then you need a needle and a pair of scissors. Alrighty, let's get started. I'm starting with green. The center of my square is going to be green. So I'm going to start with my slip knot. I'm going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to join this into a circle with that stay knot. And again, as I always say, if you prefer to use the magic ring or magic circle, go right ahead. It'll work just fine. I'm just old school. I like doing things the old way. Alrighty, so what we're going to do is we're going to go in, pull up a loop, and chain 3. This chain 3 counts as our first double crochet. And now I'm going to stitch 2 more double crochets in my ring. 1 and 2. And I'm going to just chain 1. And now I'm going to do 3 more sets of 3 double crochet, chain 1. We're basically starting the way a regular granny square starts. Although we are only chaining 1 in between our groups of 3. 1, 2, 3, chain 1, and 1, 2, and 3, and chain 1. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 groups of 3 double crochet, chain 1. I'm going to join to my chain 3. I'm going to slip stitch in these next 2 double crochets. I'm going to slip stitch in the next chain 1 space, and I'm not changing colors here, so I'm going to go ahead and chain 3. Now you could change colors every row if you want to, but remember, when your chain 3 counts as your first double crochet, make sure you change colors before you do that chain 3. All right, now before we do row 2, we're going to turn this over. I'm going to gently pull on that string and grab my needle. Now you could wait to the end to weave this in if you want to. I just like to go ahead and get this one done. I don't want to forget it at the end, leave a hole in the center. There we go. I'm just weaving it in, going back and forth on the back of my work. And we are going to have a few weave-ins to do because we are changing colors 4 times. All right, we'll go ahead and clip that. So this is how row 1 should look. You have 4 sets of 3 double crochets with chain 1s, and then we slip stitch to that corner and chain 3. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to stitch 3 double crochets. Our chain 3 counts as our first, so there's 2 more. We're going to chain 1, get in there, and 3 double crochets in the same chain 1 space. Now, that's our first corner. Normally, we would chain 1 or 2 or something before we go to the next corner, but we're not. We did our chain 3, 2 double crochets, chain 1, and then 3 double crochets, and we're going to go right to that next corner and stitch another corner. 3 double crochets, chain 1, and 3 double crochets. We don't chain 1 here. We go right to that next corner and stitch our 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3, chain 1, and 3 double crochets. Our only chain 1s are in the corners, not between the clusters on the sides. All right, so I did 3 double crochets, chain 1, and 3 double crochets. No chain 1, and right to that last corner. 1, 2, and 3, chain 1, and 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. And again, we do not chain 1. We're going to go right over to this chain 3 that counted as our first double crochet and slip stitch. And then again, we'll slip stitch in those 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, and then slip stitch in the chain 1 space. But we're not going to chain 3 because we're going to be changing colors for row 3. But in reality, we basically made 2 rows of granny square. The only difference is we only used a chain 1, and then on row 2 we did not chain 1 between our corner clusters. So for row 2 we have 4 sets of 3 double crochet, chain 1, and 3 double crochets. And again, we did not chain 1 on the 4 sides. All right, so we're going to cut our yarn because we're done with the green. And I'm going to bring in my color 2, which is this beautiful gold color. All right, so we're going to bring that in. Let those stems or strands of yarn drop. Go in, pull up a loop, and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Now our corner is going to be the same. So I'm going to stitch 2 more double crochets. 1 and 2. We're going to chain 1 and then 3 double crochets in the corner. 1, 2, and 3. All right, so now what we're going to do, we've made our corner, 3 double crochets, chain 1, and 3 double crochets. We're going to skip the next 2 double crochets and then double crochet in that 3rd double crochet of that cluster. Okay, now what we're going to do is what's called a long double crochet. And what we're going to do is we're going to crochet down here. And we're going to do that around the post. All right, so we're going to yarn over. We're going to come down here and stitch around the post of that center double crochet. All right, let me show you again. Yarn over, come down around that post, grab that yarn and pull it through. And you need to loosen up just a little bit and finish that double crochet. And see how that looks? Then we're going to double crochet in the next double crochet. Okay, that's the way that the sides are done. We're going to skip these next 2 double crochets and go right to our corner and stitch our 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, chain 1, and 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. All right, not pretty. All right, now we're going to do the next side. So we'll skip those first 2 double crochets. We'll double crochet in that 3rd double crochet of those 3. We're going to stitch that long front post double crochet. So yarn over, go around the front post down here, and finish that double crochet, and then double crochet in the next double crochet. Okay, and so what we did here, we're just going to repeat on these next 2 sides. All right, so we're skipping the next 2 double crochets and going to the corner. All right, so 3 double crochets, 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1 and 3 double crochets in that corner. 1, 2, and 3. And again, we're going to skip the next 2 and stitch a double crochet in that 3rd double crochet. Now we're going to stitch that long front post double crochet, going around the post of the stitch of the previous row. And then double crochet in that next double crochet. And again, we're going to skip those next two and go right to the corner. Alrighty. And so I'm just going to finish this last one, and it's going to look super cute. We're just going to repeat what we did here on this last side. Alright, so I finished that side, and isn't that pretty how those long front post double crochets look? I just love that. Alright, so we're going to join to our chain 3 with a slip stitch. We'll slip stitch in those next 2 double crochets, and then slip stitch in that chain 1 space, and we're not changing colors, so I'm going to chain 3. Alright, and so now our corner again is the same. Our chain 3 counts as our first double crochet, and then we're going to stitch 2 more double crochets, chain 1, and 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Alright, so now what we're going to do, itch my nose here, is we're going to skip these 2 double crochets, and we're going to double crochet in that 3rd double crochet. And now what we're going to do is in these 3 double crochets, we're going to stitch front posts. Alright, so we yarn over, we're going to go around the post of the next stitch, the post of the long double crochet, and the post of the next double crochet. And so there we have 3 front post stitches. We'll double crochet in the next double crochet, and then we'll skip those next 2 double crochets and go right to the corner. Alright, so let's finish this corner. I've done 1 double crochet. Here's 2, 3, chain 1, and 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Alright, now we're going to skip the next 2 double crochets, double crochet in this 3rd double crochet. Now we're going to stitch a front post double crochet in these next 3 stitches. And remember, the post is down here around the bottom part of our stitches. So there's 1. We're going to go around the front post of that long double crochet, and then front post around that next double crochet. Then we'll double crochet in the next double crochet. There we go. And now we're going to skip those next 2 and go right to our next corner. Alright, and see how that looks? We have those 3 front posts right here. And what we did here, we're just going to repeat on these last 2 sides and join back to our chain 3. I have completed that last side. I'm going to join to my chain 3 with a slip stitch. Then I'll slip stitch in those 2 double crochets, and then slip stitch in the chain 1 space. Only I'm changing colors, so I'm going to cut my yarn. There we go. I'm going to bring in this beautiful amethyst purple color. I'm going to go ahead and chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. Alright, and so for row 3, our corners are the same. 3 double crochet, chain 1, and 3 double crochet. And then on the side here, we have 1 double crochet, 3 front posts, and 1 double crochet. It gives us a fun texture on here. Also pulls it in some. You can see it comes in on the sides, and it's a really fun shape. All right, let's do row 5. Now remember, I'm changing colors, but you don't have to. You change colors as you want to. I just really liked it doing 2 colors for our 2 rows on each color. All right, so let's do our corner the same. We're going to stitch 2 more double crochets because our chain 3 counted as 1, chain 1 and 3 double crochets. And I'm really loving the addition of this amethyst purple. It's not a color you normally see for fall, but I have just loved using it. All right, so there's our corner. Our chain 3 counts as our first. So we have 3 double crochets, chain 1, and 3 double crochet. Now we're going to skip the next 2 double crochets, and we're going to double crochet in that 3rd double crochet. And now what we're going to do is we're going to have 5 front post double crochets. So we'll front post double crochet in the next 5 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then we'll double crochet in that next double crochet. And that's how the side looks. We have 1 regular double crochet, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 front post double crochets, and then 1 double crochet, which brings us to our next corner. We skip those 2 and go right to the corner and stitch 3 double crochets, 1, 2, and 3, and chain 1 and 3 double crochets. All right, so we're going to skip the next 2 double crochets and double crochet in the next stitch. Now we're going to stitch 5 front post double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we're going to double crochet in that next double crochet and then go right over to our chain 1 space. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1. All right, and so what you're going to do, let's get those strings out of the way. We will have a little bit of weaving in to do. But what you'll do is you'll continue to repeat what we did here on these last 2 sides. So we have our corner, 3 double crochet, chain 1, and 3 double crochet. Then we have a regular double crochet, 5 front post double crochets, and a regular double crochet. And we always skip the first 2 and the last 2 double crochets here and here on each side. All right, so let's just repeat what we did here on these next 2 sides. Oh my goodness, I was just looking at this and I'm thinking, that looks like Mardi Gras. The green, the gold, and the purple. I love it. Well, I finished this last side. I'm going to join to my chain 3 with a slip stitch. Then we'll slip stitch in those 2 double crochets. We'll slip stitch in the chain 1 space in the corner and go ahead and chain 3 because I'm not changing colors. All right, so let's go ahead and do our corner. I need 2 more double crochets, chain 1 and 3 double crochets, not 2, as each corner needs 3 and 3. All righty. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to skip those 2 double crochets and we're going to stitch 1 regular double crochet and then another regular double crochet. And now we're going to stitch those 5 front posts. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right. And then we'll stitch 1 double crochet in the next 2. 1 and 2. All right, so let's take a look at that real quick. We did our corner, 3 chain 1, 3, and then 2 regular double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 front posts, and 2 regular double crochets. All right, then again we'll skip those 2 and go right to the chain 1 space and stitch 3 double crochets, 1, 2, and 3, chain 1 and 3 double crochets, 1, 2, and 3. All right, so again we're skipping 2 and we're stitching 1 in the next 2, and that's 1 regular double crochet in the next 2, and then we're going to stitch 5 front post double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoops, get in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then 1 double crochet in the next 2. 1 and 2. All right, and see how that looks? It's really starting to make those front posts really stand out and give good texture. All right, so what we did here, we're going to repeat on these next 2 sides and join back to our chain 3. I completed those last sides. Now I'm going to join to my chain 3. I'm going to slip stitch in those next 2 double crochets and then slip stitch in the chain 1 space. But I am not going to chain 3 because I am changing colors. I'm bringing in this bruschetta color, rusty red. I just love it. And I really like how these colors all work together. Alrighty, so now I'm going to chain 3 in my new color. Alright, and now we're ready for row 7. And again, our corner is the same. 1, 2, chain 1 and 3 double crochets. Alrighty, so now the side of it is similar. We're going to skip 2. We're going to double crochet in the next 2. So we stitched those 3 double crochets, chain 1 and 3 double crochets. We skipped 2 and then 1 double crochet in the next 2. So now we're going to have 7 front post double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so we have 2 double crochets and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 front post, and now we're going to double crochet regular in the next 2 stitches. There we go. And see what we did is we gained a front post on the beginning and end of our group, and then we have the 2 double crochets that are regular on both sides. All right, so let's go to the next chain 1 space and stitch our 3 double crochets. 1, 2, some more yarn out here, 3, chain 1 and 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. All right, so the corners again are all the same all the way up. We're going to skip 2 and double crochet in the next 2. 1, 2. Now we're going to front post in the next 7 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So now we're going to double crochet in the next 2, 1 and 2. We'll skip the next 2 double crochets and go right to that corner and stitch our corner as usual. There's the first 3 double crochets and chain 1. All right, so I want you to take a look and see what I did. All right, you can see how we started with 1, went to 3, then to 5, and now we're at 7 front post double crochets. So our corners are the same, 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochets. We skipped 2, stitched 1 double crochet in the next 2, front post in the next 7, and then 2 double crochets, 1 in each of the next 2, and of course skip 2 and right to the corner. And so again, what we did on this side, we're going to repeat and do on these last 2 sides and join back to our chain 3. I have completed row 7, and each of our 4 corners we have 3 double crochets, chain 1, and 3 double crochets. Then we have 2 regular double crochets. Then we have our 7 front posts and 2 regular double crochets. I went ahead and slip stitched in my chain 3 and then in those 2 stitches and then in the chain 1 space and chain 3 because we're not changing colors. All right, now row 8 is our last row, and it is similar to row 7. The only difference is we're going to have 3 regular double crochets and then our 7 front posts and then 3 regular. All right, so I've already chained 3, so let's stitch 2 more double crochets, chain 1, and 3 more double crochets. 1, 2, 3. We're going to skip those 2, and then we'll stitch 1 double crochet in the next 3. 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to stitch 1 double crochet in each of those 7, only we're going to stitch in the front posts, okay, like we've been doing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 front post double crochets, and then 1 double crochet in the next 3. 1, 2, and 3. And see how that looks? All right, so now we're just going to skip over to our chain 1 space and do the corner the same. 3 double crochets, chain 1, oops, there we go, and 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. All right, now we'll do the next side. We're going to skip these 2 and stitch 1 double crochet in the next 3. 1, 2, and 3. All right, now we're going to stitch 7 front posts double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, oops, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then again we're going to stitch 1 double crochet in the next 3. 1, 2, and 3. All right. Isn't that beautiful? I'm just loving these colors together with the gold and the purple. It is still giving off a Mardi Gras vibe though, isn't it? I love it. Alrighty, so what we did here, we're going to repeat on these next two sides and again join back to our chain 3. I have completed row 8. We have our 4 corners with our 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet. Then we have 3 regular double crochets, 7 front post, 3 regular all the way around. And then of course I joined to my chain 3 and slip stitched to the corner. All right, I'm going to cut my yarn because I'm going to use the purple for my trim. I was going to go ahead and use the rust, but I want it to be a different color. And I really love the purple. And so that's what I'm going to use for my trim. All right, so this is how it should look at row 8. Now remember, we need 2 squares. So make sure you make 2. Now these are the 2 squares that I'm going to put together to make a hot pad. And you'll notice they're not exactly the same. This one has the bruschetta color on the inside. This one has it on the outside. They both have purple, but the other colors, the cream and the beige, are different. I've got the gold and the green. And I love that they're different. I really, really do. And after I got to looking at this one, at first I said Mardi Gras, and then when I saw the green in the middle, it looks like a clover. So see, by changing colors, you get lots of different looks, and I just love that. All right, so what we're going to do, I didn't tie off my last color because I'm going to be bringing in my purple. But what we want to do is we want to put the 2 squares together with the right sides facing out. Okay? And we're going to be evenly single crocheting all the way around. There. I like the way that works better. Just mess with it until you like the way it fits up. Now I will tell you, you'll notice where we did these front post stitches, they kind of come in a little bit. And that's something you may have to work with if you put a bunch of these together. But when I was making this, my first thought, of course, was hot pads and pot holders. All right, it's really simple on this particular pattern. We're going to bring in our purple amethyst. And I'm just going to stuff those strings inside out of the way. And one neat thing about making a hot pad is wherever you wove in your yarns, they're underneath. No one's going to see those, and they're not going to come undone. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go right in this first chain 1 space on both sides, and we're going to stitch 1, 2, 3 single crochets right in that first chain 1 space. Now we're going to work in the stitches. All right, and so I'm going to go right in that first double crochet, not singles. We're stitching single crochets. Get in there. There we go. All right. And so we're just going to work around stitching 1 single crochet in each of the double crochets on both sides. All the way around. And right now we're just going to stitch across until we reach that next corner. And see, it just makes a nice even row of single crochets. And this is just going to hold the 2 sides together. All right, so I'm just stitching a row of single crochet until I reach that next corner. I have stitched across this first side, stitching our back and front together. All right, and I stitched down here. Now we're to the next chain 1 space. So we're going to go in that chain 1 space and stitch 3 single crochets. All right, and we're doing that because that's going to help it hold together, but also it's going to help it move around that corner nice and smoothly. And then we'll just start stitching our single crochets, stitching our front and back together on this next side. And see how that moved nice and smoothly around that corner? All right, so we'll just continue on down this side and then around all 4 sides and stitching those 3 single crochets in each of those chain 1 spaces in the corners. I have completed stitching the front and back together. You can see we did our 3 single crochets in each of our corners and then just did evenly our single crochets across the front and the back. I love how it looks on the back. I love how it looks on the front. Alrighty, so now what we're going to do is we're going to join to that first single crochet with a slip stitch. And I want to add a little hanger so I can hang it up. So I'm just going to chain 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And then we'll just join right back here to this same single crochet and cut our yarn. I'm going to go ahead and tie that off so you can see I've got a loop there, and then I'll just take my needle here and go ahead and weave these 2 ends in, and my hot pad is all finished. I have completed this one, and now I have 2 allspice hot pads or pot holders. Now you'll notice this one looks a little puffy. That's because I put this one through the wash on a gentle cycle so that you could see how it softens up, although you can't feel it. This yarn is super soft anyway. But it also loses that sizing that's on it because they put a sizing on their yarn to help it slide through the machines quickly. And it's left on the yarn like a residue. And then once you wash cotton yarn, that sizing comes off and it almost makes the yarn puff up a little bit and be more absorbent. Okay, and so I have 2 different colors but made the same and super pretty. I love them both. These are probably be my next 2 favorite hot pads if I don't like give them to my sister or something. And I hope you'll really enjoy making some.